Hi there, I'm Caroline Leishman, and this is Fireside Rebels. What is Fireside Rebels, you might ask? Well, I want it to be a community for women who are looking to ignite their next act. So, what does that mean, really? Well, women who may be empty nesters for the first time. They may be been laid off from a job, want to go back into the workforce after the kids are grown or in high school or going to college. May just want to try something new. What is your jam? What is something you've always wanted to do and always felt like you couldn't do that, or no, I'm not going to be good at that. I love it when women just decide to say fuck it and just fucking try something new, just head off in a new direction, reinvent themselves. Like, I love just complete transformations when women just really start to take the time to dive into who they are as their true authentic self. And what does that even mean? Like, who do they want to be? Do they want to get a fucking tattoo? Do they want to learn how to ride a motorcycle? Do they want to go on a trip to Paris by themselves, play roller derby, totally change careers? Do they want to run for elected office? Do they want to go mountain bike riding? Do they want to learn how to kite surf? Okay, I've done most of those things. So I'm going to be pulling from my own experience, but because I fucking love trying new things. I love the challenge. I love new experiences. But I've also struggled with perfectionism, and I've struggled with imposter syndrome. And I want to just kind of make a safe space for us to talk about those things and share about those experiences, because I definitely am someone who has completely reinvented myself over and over and over and over. I've worn many different hats in my life. As a kid, I was a competitive figure skater. I was a dancer. I skated in an ice show in Europe. I coached figure skating in very cold winter climates. I'm in Canada, so I spent several winters in minus 30 below weather. I have lived on a boat, sailboat, and a converted fish boat. Um, I'm an actor and writer and director. I went to theater school in Pasadena, California, in late 80s and early 90s. I've run a dive boat. I've been a assistant harbor master. I have danced in an opera. I've performed on stage many times. I've performed the vagina monologues many times, raising money for our local women's transition house years ago. I've directed musicals, performed in musicals. I've started a roller derby league. I recently learned how to ride. Well, not recently, I guess 20, oh Jesus, time flies. 2017, one of my good friends taught me how to ride a motorcycle. And that was something I always wanted to do and was always afraid. So it is something that, like, I'm very aware of how dangerous riding a motorcycle is. And so I definitely, my dad used to tell me just about driving. My dad would always say, drive like everyone else on the road is out to kill you. So drive very defensively, but drive confidently. And so when I ride my motorcycle, I do always try to be very safe and nothing. But it's a challenge for me because it's nerve wracking. But I do think that tackling actually things that you're afraid of, I think it's good to tackle those things. Like, I've always been afraid of drowning my whole life, and I'm not really sure why. Because I went in swimming lessons when I was a kid, and but I wasn't a great swimmer. I'm an okay swimmer. I'm not a super strong swimmer. And so then I took took scuba diving lessons, where you have to prove that you can swim to it, like good, you have to do so many laps in however much time, and then going underwater. I've had asthma my whole life, so even as a competitive figure skater, I had to maintain my asthma to make sure that it was in check. But yeah, I don't like not being able to breathe. That's a phobia of mine. So what did I do? I moved onto a sailboat first with my partner at the time, and then I took scuba diving lessons. That was terrifying, but also incredible. I didn't continue on with it. I like to snorkel, but and then 2000 and I want to say 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. My boyfriend was a windsurfer, and so I started. Oh God, I mean, okay, let's not even say that I started trying to learn how to windsurf, because it was just a joke. I I was terrible. He was a really good windsurfer, and he had all these speed boards. And anyway, I was terrible. I did not like it. I did not like falling in. I struggled with trying to windsurf for a few years, once or twice a summer. Like, let's be real, because I live in a coastal community, and I live on the ocean, so I'm super lucky to have access to the ocean. It's 5 minutes from my house. And then in about 2014, I decided, we had gone away to this wind destination where he went, met a buddy, like we were meeting friends and he was going windsurfing. I was basically laying in the camper and laying on the beach reading novels, because I was like, oh no, it's too windy. I am not even going to try windsurfing here, because I am terrible. And I started seeing all these people going kiteboarding, and which, if you don't know what kiteboarding is, it's crazy. But so it terrified me, and I would watch these people doing jumps, and they were so good, and they had these huge kites, and they were just like flipping around, and I literally was like, I would never be able to do that again. Like, so if you say you can't do something, then you're right. So I watched these people um, going down the beach to get ready for kiteboarding, kite surfing. And there were two schools there at the time, actually, teaching people how to kiteboard. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'd probably never be able to do that. Well, then I saw this couple in their late 60s walking down the beach with kite gear. And I was like, okay, hang on a minute. What's happening here? What are these two up to? And I watched this couple, late 60s, and I would have been in my late 30s, I guess, or early 40s, somewhere around 40 maybe. And they went kiteboarding. And I was like, hang on, wait, like, okay, I was in okay shape. I wasn't in super great shape at the time, but I was like, okay, like, I'm still pretty fit. So like, it looked to me like, if you can kiteboard in your late 60s, and I've seen people in their 70s kiteboarding. Anyway, I decided to sign up for lessons. And so I tackled a big fear of mine, which was a wind sport, kiteboarding. And I took lessons, and I sucked at it. The first bunch of lessons I took that summer and the conditions weren't that great, so it sucked ass. But I persevered, and the next year I went again, and I signed up for a women's camp, which, oh my God, I highly recommend. If you're going to learn kiteboarding or anything like that, do a women's camp, because you're there to support each other. Fuck, it was so good. It was so fun. And we had women instructors, and it was fantastic. And I finally started getting the knack of kiteboarding. And so yeah, started kiteboarding, and I still do kiteboard once in a while, not as often, because 2 years ago it became all about wing surf foiling, which we just call it wing foiling. And that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, these sports, for someone who's always been afraid of drowning, it's kind of bizarre that I have gone this route. But wing foiling is now my passion, and I'll talk about that on another episode. But it's incredible. And so that's another thing that I've tackled in my life that was terrifying to me. And I also forgot to mention that I worked in construction for 22 years, and started out because I wanted to learn how to run power tools, because as a woman, I was not taught these things. And I started to run some basic power tools when I lived on a wooden sailboat, finishing the decks and such. And so I wanted to learn that. And I totally reinvented myself, going from working at a hair salon for $8 an hour. I went, holy fuck, my marriage ended. And I was like, okay, I need to get my shit together and I need to get a career. So I decided, what do I want to do with my life? And I made some lists and I did some pros and cons. And I called up a contractor and met him for coffee and said, I'm thinking I might want to get into construction. And so I got my first aid. I said, if I renew my first aid ticket, because I have my industrial first aid, will you hire me as first aid attendant and laborer, basically? And he did. And I spent a year on tools. And then I got a lung infection on a really terrible, nasty renovation. And so I got funding through the government to get retrained. And I got a drafting and design certificate. And he hired me back as in-house designer, architectural designer. And I spent the next 20 years designing houses and project managing most of the jobs that I designed. So I've built many, many homes and seniors apartment rental buildings. Yeah, it's been a pretty incredible, crazy career. But that's just another thing that I've done, that I totally reinvented myself there. And I also ran for city council a number of years ago, and that was completely out of left field. And I spent 2 terms as an elected official on city council. That's a whole nother story that I'll talk about another time. But yeah, really, I just want to say, like, if there's something that you want to do, reinvent yourself, try something completely new, something completely bizarre. If it interests you, just look into it. Just start looking into it. And if it feels interesting and you're curious about it, if it's meant to be, it can be. You just need to take the steps to make it happen. So I just thought I wanted to share that. And that's kind of what this space is about, is sharing ideas. I'm also going to be interviewing women that I know, friends of mine who are reinventing themselves in their 50s, and just they inspire me. I want to talk about women who inspire me. So if that sounds interesting to you and you sound like one of these women, then I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you subscribe to the channel, and I hope you like the video. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. I hope you check out some more content, because this is a new venture for me, and I hope to see you here. Thanks for coming.